The night was supposed to be ordinary, mopping floors, fixing lights, and making sure the hallways of Silverline Towers gleamed before dawn. But fate doesn't check your job title before deciding you're the hero of someone else's story. The sirens hadn't started yet, the smoke hadn't filled the air, and Mark Dawson, a single dad with tired eyes and calloused hands, had no idea that within the next 10 minutes, he'd be pulling the CEO of the very company that paid him minimum wage out of a burning car. And that her first words to him would pierce deeper than the flames ever could. That Mark's life was a quiet rhythm of exhaustion and love. Every night, after tucking in his 7-year-old daughter Lily, he'd head out for his night shift as a janitor at Silverline. Life hadn't been kind since his wife passed away 3 years ago. Cancer had a way of taking everything, not just people. But Lily's laughter kept his world standing, fragile but alive. He never complained. The job was humble, but it was honest, and it let him buy her favorite storybooks, keep her school fees paid, and keep a promise he'd whispered at his wife's hospital bed: "I'll raise her right, no matter what." That night, as he cleaned the glass lobby, a distant crash shattered the silence. Metal screamed against metal from the intersection just outside the building. Mark froze for half a second, his mop clattering to the floor. Then instinct, not thought, took over. He bolted outside. Flames licked the twisted wreck of a silver BMW, smoke pouring into the night. A woman was trapped inside, pounding weakly against the glass. Without hesitation, he grabbed a discarded metal rod and smashed the window. The heat seared his skin, glass slashed across his forearm, but he didn't stop. He yanked open the door, coughed against the smoke, and dragged her out, carrying her a few feet before the car erupted behind them. She coughed violently, gasping for air, her designer dress torn, her expensive heels snapped. Mark tore off his janitor jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You're safe now," he rasped, voice hoarse from smoke. The woman blinked, dazed, then focused on his face, the dirt-streaked cheeks, the uniform that read maintenance staff. Her first words, sharp and cold, cut through the chaos like ice. "Don't touch me." Mark froze, disbelief clouding the adrenaline. She pushed his hand away, trembling but proud, eyes flashing with anger and confusion. "You ruined my car," she snapped before her voice broke into a sob. He stepped back, stunned into silence. He didn't even know her name yet, but everyone at Silverline knew her. Evelyn Hart, CEO, feared and respected in equal measure. The fire trucks arrived minutes later, paramedics swarming around. Mark watched from the sidewalk, the blood drying on his arm, the smell of smoke in his hair. Evelyn didn't look back at him once. As the ambulance doors closed, he caught a glimpse of her face, illuminated by flashing red lights. Not gratitude, not recognition, just exhaustion. Maybe pain that he returned to work that night in silence. The mop bucket sat where he left it, water now cold. He didn't tell anyone what happened. Heroes weren't supposed to mop floors anyway, right? The next morning, Evelyn Hart woke in a private hospital room. Her assistant was already there, phone buzzing with calls, legal teams talking about insurance, image statements. She couldn't remember everything clearly, the crash, the man, the smoke, but one thing she remembered vividly, the eyes of the janitor who'd pulled her out. There had been something raw in them, something she hadn't seen in years, care without agenda. Yet she'd pushed him away, instinctively, because she didn't know how to accept help without losing control. When her assistant mentioned the security footage from the building's cameras, a man running toward the fire, Evelyn went still. "Give me his name," she ordered quietly. Mark didn't expect to be summoned to the top floor of Silverline Towers that week. He thought it was a mistake when HR called. He arrived in his plain uniform, nervous, palms sweating. The elevator ride to the 50th floor felt like climbing into another world. Marble floors, art on every wall, air that smelled expensive. Evelyn was waiting by the window, her arm in a sling. She turned when he entered. For a moment, neither spoke. "You're Mark Dawson," she said, breaking the silence. "Yes, ma'am. You pulled me out of that car." "I did what anyone would have done," he replied softly. "No," she said. "Most people would have watched." She paused, studying him. "I owe you my life. I'm sorry for what I said that night." Mark gave a faint smile. You don't owe me anything. Just maybe be kind to the next person who's invisible." That line hit her harder than she expected. For a woman who built her empire by being invincible, invisible wasn't a word she'd ever considered. From that moment, Evelyn started noticing things she hadn't before. The tired faces that cleaned her offices, the cafeteria worker who smiled every morning, the night shift guards who greeted her despite her silence. And somewhere between guilt and gratitude, she began to change. She found out Mark's story, his wife, his daughter, his struggle. Quietly, she arranged for Lily to receive a full scholarship to Silverline Academy's private school program. No announcement, no comedas. Just a quiet envelope left at the front desk of Mark's building. Weeks passed. Mark never knew who sent it, though he suspected. But when Evelyn visited the maintenance floor one night, holding a small lunchbox and an awkward smile, he knew for sure. "I made too much dinner," she said simply. He smiled. "You really don't have to, I know," she interrupted. "But I wanted to." They sat in the dim break room, sharing food and silence. Two people from different worlds. One who built skyscrapers, one who cleaned their floors. And yet, at that moment, they were just human. Over time, an unlikely friendship grew. Evelyn found herself opening up about her loneliness, the cost of success. Mark spoke about Lily, his fears, his dreams. The walls between CEO and janitor began to fade. Months later, Silverline announced a new community initiative, job education and daycare support for employees with families. When reporters asked Evelyn why she started it, she simply smiled and said, "Because heroes don't always wear suits. Sometimes they carry mops." The video of that moment went viral. But Mark never cared for the attention. His reward came every night when Lily hugged him and said, "Daddy, you're my hero." And Evelyn, she learned that gratitude isn't just a word. It's a way of seeing people. Sometimes the ones who save you don't just pull you from the fire. They teach you how to live after it.